welcome back to the Penny Pen. My name is Eric, and I am back once again, my friends, for another review. I'm really excited today because I'm reviewing one of my most favorite fountain pens ever, the Namiki Urushi Lacquer Vermilion Royale, also called the Namiki Yukari Royale. Now, I've already posted a few videos on my channel about this pen, an unboxing and a pen sounds. Links to those are in the description if you want to check them out. But today, I'm finally going to be talking about my experience using this pen. So let's go ahead and get started. For the sake of brevity and clarity, I'm going to be calling this pen the Royale throughout the rest of the video. So let's talk about the appearance. Its body and cap are made of brass. You can hear when unscrewing the body that kind of tinking metallic sound. Aside from the gold-plated clip, which features the Namiki logo and the slightest bit of gold trim at the base of the cap, this pen is understated by design, as is the way of many Japanese fountain pens. If you're familiar with the channel, you may know my preference is for the understated look, and the Royale's design I would call graceful and elegant. The cap unscrews and has a padded inner lining similar to the Pilot Custom 845. Like the 845's padded lining, I am not really a huge fan since I don't post my pens generally, but I can say the Royale's lining does seem of better quality than the 845's. This pen uses a cartridge converter system and comes with a Pilot Con 70 converter. The Urishi has a mirror finish, which in my limited research, let me emphasize that again, limited research, is created using the Roiro Urishi method, which uses a specific kind of Urishi lacquer, which is then polished with charcoal or maybe some other type of polishing material. The red Urishi is vibrant in bright sunlight, and I would describe as tranquil under lamplight. Officially, the name of this pen is the Lacquer Vermilion number 20 under Namiki's Urishi collection. If you're not so familiar with Namiki, they're the higher end company under the Pilot brand from Japan. Their pens are notable for their high quality materials and craftsmanship, and their different collections share features such as the use of Urishi lacquer and elaborate makie work. The Urishi collection is comprised of this pen, their number 20, named after the so-called size 20 nib featured on the pen, and the collection also has the number 50 pen, better known as the Namiki Emperor, which, if you've seen videos of, looks like a mini sword because it's so huge. I'm no expert by any means on Namiki, Pilot, or even fountain pens in general. I'm just a guy with a phone camera and a sizable amount of credit card debt. But this is, I think, the more salient background information regarding this pen. The pen, for its metal body, weighs comfortably in my hand. I think this comes down to the size. This is not what I would consider to be an oversized pen. In a lineup from left to right with the TWSBI Eco, the Lamy 2000, Pilot Metropolitan, Lamy All-Star, Pilot Custom 823, and Mont Blanc 149, you can see that the Royale is only slightly larger than these more popular pens. In terms of girth, I would say it feels somewhere between the TWSBI Eco and the Mont Blanc 149. Unlike its larger counterpart, the size 50, the Royale feels very much like it's made with practicality and usage in mind. The number 20 size nib, I think, is prominent without being too cumbersome. It features a very cool engraved Mount Fuji on it. My pen has a single colored nib, but there are other Namiki nibs that are two-toned, where the snow on Mount Fuji is rhodium plated, which is pretty cool, I think. I believe that those two-toned ones are on the more expensive collections, but I'm not too sure. In comparison to the nibs of pens such as the Pilot Metropolitan and the Lamy All-Star, the Royale's nib is large, but not overwhelmingly so, I would say. What is interesting was comparing the Royale's nib with the Pilot Custom 823's number 15 nib. At first glance, you don't notice a huge size difference, but when you turn the nibs to the side in profile, You can notice how the number 20 has more fins and seemingly wider spaces between them. Just an interesting observation to me, though. The nib, when writing, is an absolute joy. This nib is a medium and it lays down a surprisingly wet line for a pilot, or really any Japanese pen, as a matter of fact. Without any sort of tuning or work done on it, it wrote smoothly right out of the box. The Con 70 converter holds a lot of ink, in my opinion, and I actually prefer the cartridge converter pen system. So I'm glad this pen uses that system, makes cleaning a whole lot easier. Speaking of making things easier and convenient and efficient, this ties back to my earlier point. This pen, how it's designed and how it performs, tells me that it isn't just an ornament for display. It's a finely tuned, finely crafted tool meant to be used and engaged and enjoyed in its use. The nib is responsive, ink flowing smoothly at every point of contact on the paper, flowing without stopping or stuttering or requiring changes in hand pressure. And in fact, it requires just the slightest bit of hand pressure to lay down a smooth, wet line. Ultimately, though, if you're even considering buying this pen, the price is most likely the main reason why I'd hesitate. It's a handcrafted urushi pen, and even in the days before large global supply shortages, these kinds of luxury pens came and come with a huge luxury price tag. Nobody, and I mean nobody, needs an expensive fountain pen. By definition, a luxury is something that is not needed. I bought mine because I thought it was an incredible work of art that inspired me to want to write more. For this reason, I accepted the cost, even though it still was a very large cost. Personally, I even feel self conscious telling people unfamiliar with fountain pen prices the prices of many of my fountain pens, not even half the price of the Royale. There is a guilt I have about indulging in a desired commodity, and it's something I continue to feel and continue to work on. I'm not wealthy, and I don't come from wealth. The money I spent on this pen could have gone to 1,000 other things that may have benefited me or made me more financially secure or made a little bit more financial sense. The reason why I'm mentioning all of this is because the cost of this pen is, I think, the main reason why many people will never buy this pen. And I think it needs to be said that that is perfectly okay. I don't live in a YouTube vacuum. I have a 9 to 5 job and scrape by like many other people. All I'm saying is I made the costly decision to purchase this pen, and that the social and economic factors involved in any decision of luxury pen purchases are very much real. And if you're struggling with them like I am, like I have in the past and probably will continue to do so in the future, I recognize you, dear viewer, and I wish you continued enjoyment in this complicated and oftentimes expensive hobby. And I wish you continued enjoyment in whatever capacity you are comfortable affording. Please remember, if it writes, it's right. Penny Pen out.